Hey everyone, Aussie Viking here to talk about, are old school shooters coming back? Well, yes they are, and I couldn't be any more excited. So at the end of the 90s, early 2000s, we started getting games that were more linear. Mainly starting with Call of Duty. Well, you could say Medal of Honor, Allied Assault started it, and they gave you big epic set pieces, but the linear levels were just that, you know, there were no big open areas, it'd be on foot, very scripted, and after a while, we're getting bored of them. And every now and then we do still get games such as Halo and such, which give us big open areas and such like that, and we get like Far Cry's and such, but they're not very old school in the fact that the level design isn't a maze, it's just an open world, you know, which is perfectly fine and very fun gameplay, but a lot of us FPS fans miss the maze-like levels of the old school that had multiple routes and all these secrets, and you know, you could unlock a gun in like the first level that you usually get in the 4th or 5th level. We miss that, and it's starting to come back. We're starting to see it with it was Hard Reset, and then we had Shadow Warrior, Wolfenstein, and now we're getting Doom, we're getting Shadow Warrior 2, we're getting George Romero's hopefully gets funded new FPS game, because he still has it. I'm replaying Quake 1, and the level design in that is amazing. He has it. He has the touch of perfect level design in FPS, and I cannot wait to see him do it again. And like, I gotta say, I am extremely excited for what comes next. We're obviously getting old school with some new school elements such as dual wielding, upgrades, RPG sort of elements, but we're still getting the beautiful secrets. We're getting the multi-layered levels. We're getting the left, right, up, down areas, the multiple ways to go. We're getting all of that, and it's just amazing that we're getting it back. We're still obviously getting the, you know, Call of Duty very scripted sequences and such, and while there are some sort of scripted sequences in, like, say, Wolfenstein and such, they're not prominent, you know. You get a scripted sequence, but it will end, you know. Once it ends, you'll be able to go right back to it. Mostly in things like Call of Duty, you get a scripted sequence, it'll end, you keep going, and then you'll start another one up, you know. And sometimes it works for the better. Say you're fighting a boss, and it has a scripted sequence that it starts off. When it finishes, you can kill it. You know, you can kill it in the multiple ways you can usually kill it. Most scripted sequences don't even give you the boss fight, you know. Oh, scripted boss. Oh, he's dead. Okay, well, you know. I have to say, it's going to be an interesting few years for FPS fans. I think this could be a real big resurgence of old school shooting, as in level design and such, which really is timeless, to be honest. You play Doom 1, Doom 2, the final levels of Doom, basically every Doom game, including 3. 3 had some good old school stuff too. You play Wolfenstein, the old ones, and Quake 1, Quake 2, and the level design in that feels amazing, and it even beats most games today. It's just amazing how well those games hold up. They're fast paced, triggered skill, you know, you gotta be skillful with them, you know. You gotta learn each gun's sequences and such, which again is a great thing. You got the Baron gameplay, and you got the good, big, powerful, alright, here's how you do it gameplay. Now, they're also going to be different from the old school, such as giving modern day graphics, weapons, designs, and so on and so forth, but it's still going to have the heart of old school, you know. They're going to be fast, but they're going to give you times where, say, in Wolfenstein, you could stealth it. They're going to give you great weapons, but different. Such as in Wolfenstein, they gave you the railgun, but you could use it to cut holes in walls and shoot out of them, which was a great feature, and I really hope it gets expanded on in the sequel. So we're getting to a sort of renaissance, I think, to a mix between old and new, but more old school in level design and oomph, you know, like the fastness. It's something different, but it's old school, and it's very strange, because Call of Duty, because since that's the biggest, you know, modern warfare game and one of the most worst examples of good like design in video games nowadays, it's getting a bit better, but you know, it's still pretty bad. There's linear levels, they get some open areas, but that's very rare. You get AI that keeps respawning, you get scripted events, you just keep getting that into the end of the game. And while it's like Uncharted, as it's a giant action movie, it can feel like, well, can't you make the gameplay elements bigger and better? Which is why I'm hoping Old School comes back and goes, we can. Kick in the face. I mean, there are even some things that just come back that work fine, like in the new Doom. They've got the red key card, the blue key card, the yellow key card. When I watched the stream of Doom, they had the key card, and they had, alright, so yellow key card opens this door and you can go yada yada yada. But I saw a red door that needed a red key card. So if he has a red key card, comes back, he can open that door and get whatever's in it. And I love that. It's like, it makes you want to explore into every nook and cranny. It makes you want to fight and find everything you can. It makes you want to look out, look out for doors or areas that look like you could get into, but you can't straight away. It really makes you want to, as a gamer, be more interested in the game, which is exactly what FPSs need. These days it's very dumb if you count the whole Call of Duty thing, but now we can get a good mix of old, new, and it can just be fun again. So that's my thoughts on it all. Now, what exactly makes an old school game? Like, to be honest, what does make an old school game? Well, maze-like levels that are just well designed but can get you lost, but also they hold secrets in them. That to me is an old school game that makes you want to explore, makes you want to look at every nook and cranny to find out what you're missing via health, armor, weapons, upgrades, and so on and so forth. Another good thing is a wide variety of weapons, not two-handed weapons, not one-handed weapon or something like that, but multiple weapons, having like a weapon wheel of 10 plus weapons that all can be charged up, shot at, and very out there weapons, such as that you wouldn't see much, such as in Blood. You had dynamite, you could throw dynamite and so on and so forth. That to me is another aspect of old school weaponry and old school design that really works well. Another one is a clear goal, A to B. That's about it, Obviously you can have smaller parts in it, but just if we're looking at the 90s games, it's basically just A to B, rarely any A, C, B, D, E, F, G sort of things. Another one, and this is probably one of the biggest one, is fun bosses. That's, to me, was an old school staple. You'd fight bosses and it'd be just completely fun. You'd have to dodge their attacks, you have to strafe around them, you have to keep shooting them, and when you ran out of ammo, you're like, oh shit, what do I do? You'd look for ammo, they're trying to kill you. It was very helpful and fun at the same time. It was very scary too. The next one is interesting enemies, such as like in the original Doom we had zombies, demons, Caco demons, but then we had bigger demons, Pinkies, Hell Knights, the Mancubus, the Cyber Demon, the Spider Mastermind, those sort of things. We had all those and they were interesting designed. And if you look at things such as Duke Nukem, we had the Pig Cops. You had those big floaty things that had those propellers around them, I can't remember what they're called, but we had a whole lot of stuff. You had those giant demons in Shadow Warrior. You had those weird designed demons in Blood and so on and so forth. Excellent character design and enemy design. And that goes to weapons as well. But also, I think one of the next biggest things I could think of, and kind of is the big thing, is living out your fantasy. A lot of the 90s games were making you live out your fantasy. Like, Doom made you live out Evil Dead and Aliens as a fantasy. Shadow Warrior made you feel like a badass, Big Trouble in Little China sort of guy, You had a sword, you could kill these mystical demons, ancients and all that. Duke Nukem made you feel like an 80s action star. One of the bigger things for me was that the character was, and like the essence of it was over the top, but grounded in fun and open maze-like levels as a game. And yeah, that's basically it. That's like my view on what a good 90s game is. Now, obviously, to compare, you really shouldn't compare, but to analyze and mash together with new school, you would get a game. Well, I would believe if you basically how old school games are now is they're basically taking those aspects and the new aspects such as upgrades and bigger levels, and all these sort of big giant things that we like from the old school and new school are mashed together, and that is what I think is the best. It's a hybrid. Old school shooters these days will become hybrids. The new Doom looks like a hybrid. It's going to have a lot of customization if you want, but the good thing is it's choosable. If you want to do these upgrades, you can do these upgrades. If you do not want to do these upgrades, you don't have to do the upgrades. I'm very excited to see how these hybrids go. Obviously, we'll be getting full-on old school. Hopefully, George Romero is able to make his game, and I'm very excited to see the demo he's working on before he restarts. And hell, I might even put some money into it because I really love George Romero's essence and power and his enthusiasm for the old school stuff. But anyway, that's my view on things. Aussie Viking out. I'll see you all in Valhalla. Bye.